The HOA that stole my home. In the quiet sprawl of Sagebrush Heights, Arizona, where the desert hums with a stillness that feels sacred, I'd carved out my sanctuary. My home, perched on a ridge, was a fortress of Solitudino HOA. No nosy neighbors, just me, the cacti, and the endless sky. I'm Walter Hayes, 52, a man who values his privacy like a rare coin. 8 years ago, I bought this place to escape the petty tyranny of suburban rulebooks. No one was going to tell me how to trim my hedges or what color my mailbox should be. But last summer, my world turned upside down when a woman named Deborah Vance, the HOA queen of the valley below, decided my home was her playground. It started innocently enough. I was packing for a 2-week business trip to Denver, running through my checklist: locks secured, lights on timers, security cameras upgraded. I'd even doubled the nightly patrols by my private security team. My place was a vault. But as I loaded my suitcase into the truck, Deborah appeared at the edge of my property, her HOA polo crisp as a military uniform. She sipped from a mug that screamed, "Wine, not coffee," and her smile was all teeth. "Off somewhere, Walter?" she asked, I scanning my driveway like a hawk. "Business," I grunted, hoping she'd take the hint. She didn't. "Empty houses attract trouble," she said, her voice syrupy with menace. "Squatters, vandals, such a shame if something happened." I stared her down, the desert heat crackling between us, and she sauntered off. I should have known then she wasn't just meddling. She was plotting. 5 days into my trip, my phone pinged, camera offline. My stomach sank. Arizona's sun can fry electronics, but when I checked the other feeds, they were dead too. I called my security provider, a crack team out of Tucson. Their diagnosis hit like a punch. Someone had manually tripped the breakers. On site, I had them dispatch a patrol. The guard called from my gate. "No one's here, but there's a blue SUV parked out front. Sticker says Sagebrush Heights HOA. My grip tightened on the phone. "Deborah." I told him to hold off on escalation and pulled up my sensor locks. All motion detection stopped the moment the power died. This wasn't random, it was surgical. The next morning, my neighbor, Mrs. Clara Peterson, 82 and sharp as a tack, called. "You renting your place out, Walter? Saw folks in your pool yesterday. Thought you joined Deborah's community housing nonsense." Ice flooded my veins. I hadn't joined anything. Clara mentioned Deborah bragging about a new HOA initiative. I canceled my Denver meetings, booked a flight, and drove home, the desert blurring past as dread coiled in my gut. My house wasn't supposed to have guests, especially not ones cracking open my beers by the pool. Pulling into my driveway, I barely recognized my own home. The gate hung open, and one hinge snapped. My mailbox was dented, like someone tried to ram it with a car. Classic rock blared from a Bluetooth speaker by the pool. I crept around the side, heart pounding, and froze. 3 strangers lounged like it were a resort. A woman in her 50s, sunburned and spilling out of a swimsuit, floated in my pool. A lanky guy with a face like weathered leather danced awkwardly nearby. A burly, shirtless man in his 60s sprawled on my chaise, sipping from my Yeti tumbler. They didn't notice me until the burly guy raised his drink. "You Hayes," he called. "Deborah said you'd skip town for good." "What the hell are you doing in my pool?" I growled. The woman pushed her sunglasses down. "We're temporary residents. HOA transition housing." She pointed to a plastic folder. I snatched it. Inside was a temporary occupancy permit, with Deborah's signature and a fake HOA seal, claiming I'd abandoned my property. It even cited an emergency clause giving the HOA control. I laughed, a bitter sound. "You think this lets you live here? Eat my food? Sleep in my bed?" The lanky guy shrugged. "Deborah gave us keys. Said you were a flight risk, dodging legal trouble." I stepped closer, voice low. "You've got 1 hour to leave, or I'll call the cops." The burly guy puffed his chest. "We're protected by the HOA's relocation program." I snapped photos of their faces, the document, and their car plates. "Try me," I said, and walked away. Inside, my house was a war zone. Couch cushions on the floor, pizza boxes on my piano, my fridge half empty. My bedroom reeked of cheap cologne. The sheets were twisted, used. A photo of my late wife was face down on the nightstand. Fury burned through me. I called the sheriff, demanding officers and a crowbar. The intruders left, grumbling, as deputies arrived. But the violation lingered. My home felt like a crime scene. I didn't sleep. I cataloged the damage: busted speakers, a Roku logged into my Wi-Fi, and my espresso machine ruined with a peanut butter spoon. I called my security provider. Their lead tech, Mark, confirmed a deliberate shutdown. Someone bypassed your firewall, he said. Not a pro, but they knew enough to brick your feeds. Hours later, he called back. Traced it to a Discord account, Desert Hacker 99. Pings to a kid named Ethan, 17, who lives nearby. Guess who paid him? Deborah. $300 in gift cards. Ethan had bragged online, calling Deborah a crazy rich HOA lady. I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer, my blood boiling. This wasn't pettiness, it was a calculated invasion. Deborah didn't stop. She posted on the Sagebrush Heights HOA Facebook group, claiming I'd fled due to legal issues, and that the HOA had secured my property. Comments piled up. He was always shady. Deborah's keeping us safe. Then came the next blow. Men in fake city vests showed up, hammering at my gate, citing code violations for my cacti and chemical waste, my old batteries, awaiting recycling. They admitted Deborah sent them. Later, I found a trash bag of rotting meat on my lawn, with a note, "Your trash says a lot. Clean up." HOA. I called animal control, my lawyer, and a private investigator, Jim, a grizzled ex-cop. The final straw? I came home to a family unloading bags from a minivan. "You the host?" the dad asked, handing me an Airbnb confirmation for Sagebrush Serenity Retreat, my house, listed without my consent. The lock had been changed. I couldn't even get in. Rage took over. I called the sheriff, a locksmith, and the local press. Deputies cleared the family, who were horrified, thinking it was a charity rental. The locksmith cut through a new keypad lock. My living room was trashed again. I poured a bourbon and planned my counterattack. Jim's investigation uncovered Deborah's empire. She targeted vacant homes, using fake permits to move in tenants and collect rent via shell accounts. Her fake nonprofit, Homes for Harmony, funneled funds while she forged county reports to win grants. She'd even faked HOA meeting votes, recording herself with different mugs to mimic voices. My lawyer filed a $750,000 civil suit for damages, broken locks, stolen goods, and emotional toll. We sent Ethan's Discord chats, bank records, and witness statements to the DA. Subpoenas flew. Deborah's house was searched, and her files were seized. In court, Deborah sat smug, her HOA pin gleaming. The prosecution laid out the evidence: my occupied home, the Airbnb scam, and Ethan's hacks. She claimed she acted for community safety, accusing me of neglect. The judge wasn't buying it. "This is organized fraud dressed in civic duty," she snapped. The jury agreed. Deborah got 15 years, with parole after 10, plus restitution and a public apology. Her accomplices, 2 HOA cronies, a cousin, and a fake inspector, got 3 to 7 years. The HOA was dissolved, its assets frozen. I received $750,000, plus refunded taxes. A year later, my home is a fortress again. Steel gate, motion lights, 24/7 security. The desert is quiet, the HOA gone. A new civic group meets, but they're toothless. Deborah, from prison, spoke on a true crime podcast, unrepentant. "I'd do it again, better," she said. I smiled, sipping coffee by my gate's sign. Invitation only. No fake permits. Let them try. What do you think? Was Deborah a misguided vigilante or a power-hungry tyrant? Have you faced injustice or abuse of power in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stance on fighting back against wrongs like this.